I mean,
All
yeah,
right.
there we go.
Good. Hey, this is Tom Regal, Tri-Time Endurance, and I'm here with Coach Stuart McDougall from Mind, Body, and Swim. And we want to talk a little bit about our Ultimate Swim training camp that we have coming up in just a couple of weeks in North Carolina. We've got a great facility with the folks at Firstborn that have this amazing property along the Blue Ridge Mountains. And it's fantastic. So we're going to do some pool swim sessions, and we're going to do some open water in Lake James. I'm going to let Coach Stu talk about that in just a minute. But the property is fantastic. We've got housing for everybody. You get your own room, fantastic food. Let you know that everything is included except for your travel to and from the event. So once you're there, the food is included, the room, the coaching, all of that stuff's included. So I think it's a fantastic event that we're putting together. We've done these in clinics and 1 day, 2 day type things, but we wanted to kick it up a notch because myself, I've had a lot of people asking. I'm in Franklin in Middle Tennessee, and a lot of people have been asking for swim clinics or swim coaching. It seems to be a big deal. So we decided to just kind of blow this up and make it a much bigger event and do this destination type thing, which I think would be fantastic. So, Coach Stu, tell us a little bit about what our training might look like on a daily basis. So,
Sure. First, man, I want to sign up for this camp. Is there a spot open?
yeah, we got a couple
After
spots
that's
left,
done,
and we're doing a great deal promo this week only. So get in now while you can, which
yep,
is all good. So
sign up now.
it's we have too much fun. We
Hey,
really we
well,
really have
we're
fun.
definitely going to. I mean, they always say swimming is 90% technique and 10%, the engine. What is technique? It's kind of it's an overloaded word. We're really going to work on what you've commonly heard as technique. And really what technique is position and movement patterns that keep you stable in the water and keep you in the smallest space possible relative to your forward direction. Typically, you'll see a lot of triathletes are just open water swimmers. They become more dependent on the wetsuit and not necessarily for warmth. It's for really to keep you level in the water, keep you high in the water. And the higher you're on the water, the smaller space that you're in, the smaller space that you're in, the faster you go. We often talk about, especially on cycling, being hydro, or I'm sorry, aero. You want to be really aerodynamic and minimize that resistance. For one reason is to go fast, right? And to minimize that effort, reduce that drag. But you rarely hear it, or if ever hear it, about becoming hydro in the water and swimming in a really small space. Much, the small space you can, much like you do on a bike. So, and that's the most important thing. The best way to speed, you know, every day of the week and twice on Sunday is becoming as hydrodynamic as possible. And I generally refer to it as swimming in the space that your body fits in
Yeah.
and nothing more. And that's it. Generally, I see a lot of swimmers out there with the low hips. Yeah, they might be 150 pounds in this position, but in this position, they're probably almost double that size, 100, 300 or more. So the goal is to, on every stroke, is to become uh, and we want to stay in that space. It's really that the shape of the vessel matters more than the size of inches. It's not about how push the water back and being strong about it. It's about being precise with your movements and with your position. And that's what we're going to work on, is really think of those. Our human terrestrial selves, especially as runners and cyclists, we solve the running or the swimming issue with running patterns and also spinning legs and those kind of patterns that have been with us for many years since we're infants and walking. We take those to the pool, and those patterns make us sink, make us thick, and make us swim in a giant profile. And the goal is really to reduce those patterns or those terrestrial patterns into more of an aquatic friendly pattern. There'll be really sometimes two sessions, pool sessions in the morning, where we're going to do a lot of technique. And what I mean by is position and new movement patterns that will be very foreign, because these are not terrestrial patterns. These are swim, aquatic friendly patterns. And it's really what I call freestyle with a lot of visual cues. There'll be some drills, but we don't get too hooked on drills. Drills are really primarily for feeling your body position and your alignment, and then integrating that quickly into freestyle. So really the first day especially will be all about really building that foundation really of posture and balance, which gets you into that really small profile. And then we'll video you.
Yep.
You'll see that some terrestrial patterns will be there that will come in that have to be corrected in order to get that small space. And we all have them. It doesn't matter if you're a pro triathlete or you're taking your first strokes or an Olympian. We all have these terrestrial movements, what I call active movements, that are really from our amygdala, or what we call our fight or flight. If we're slightly out of balance, our arms want to move faster, our legs want to kick more. And that's just a response to, very similar to if you're to be running a marathon and you trip on somebody or you trip on a curb, you suddenly start to stumble. And then there's that automatic pilot comes on, which is the reactive. Your hands and feet go out to brace for impact. And we see it all the time in the water. A lot of stumbling swimmers out there. So the goal is to take out that stumble and not stabilize with moving hands and feet, but stabilize from the middle of your body and be in that small space, much like balancing on a tightrope or ice skating. If you're ice skated or roller skated, you learn how to really balance on an edge from one edge to the other. And that's really what freestyle is that you're going from one rail to the other or one blade to the other. You're never swimming flat. You're always on one edge or the other. So in order to get there, we really start working on the shape of the vessel first. And then once we get that shape right, really what I call posture and balance, then we start to introduce those movement patterns that maintain balance and maintain posture without breaking it down. It's not about pulling water back. You'll see a lot of wiggly swimmers. It's about really thinking about throwing the arm forward. And we changed the language a little bit. We've commonly talked about the high side arm or the arm above the surface as the recovery arm, and the arm below the surface is the catch and the pull. That implies certain things behind those words. Recovery is resting. You're resting until the next catch and pull, which is active. Both arms are responsible for forward locomotion and stability and posture. And we've often heard, it's not what happens above the surface, it's what happens below the surface that counts. And I go halfway with that. I agree with halfway. Whatever happens below the surface is a direct result of what happens above the surface. So these are patterns that are going to be very foreign to you. It's going to be a much wider release, a much wider spin on those arms moving forward. We're accessing external forces, the weight of the arm that's out of the water. It's going to drop in. It's going to be the energy, the gravity and momentum taking your arm forward, rotating your body, and also as that energy goes forward or momentum, it's tethering you into posture. So it's not just about the low side arm pushing water back. It's about both arms working together and being in those positions, right, on every single stroke. And using Boomer's analogy or his mantra, it's the shape of the vessel. The shape of the vessel matters more than the size of the engine. I add one more thing to that: the shape of the vessel on every stroke, because every stroke contributes to the shape of the vessel, matters more than the size of the engine. So really focus on those. It's not workout; it's a practice. When you swim with the least amount of resistance, you're able to swim in that small space. That's where you get the speed.
And that's where you get the efficiency.
Really the shape of the vessel, right?
Yep.
We've been through this.
The efficiency gets you where you need to be. Yeah, you use a lot less energy, you go a lot faster, and you go through. We've seen it, like amazing results from Olympic swimmers to beginner swimmers. It works for everybody. And this camp is not for any particular level. It's everybody. We welcome everybody to this camp. If you think that, a training camp is too much for me, it's only for elite athletes or for much better athletes than I am, that's not the case whatsoever. What this camp also does is bring you in a very inclusive environment, a very friendly environment. So as we're working on these focal points, you'll be able to see in other swimmers things that they need to work on and proper form and proper posture that then you can incorporate as you do your swimming. And that helps with video seeing yourself. So this kind of all rounds itself around of how you work together. We get a nice relaxing environment to talk more about swimming. There's no pressure. There's none of this high drama, got to crank out hundreds and hundreds of yards type of stuff. It's really rewiring your brain to do the correct form to trigger the right muscles in that spot. It's an amazing practice. It's not like you're going to be tired at the end of the day. Let's not jump over that. But it's not going to destroy you. And it's certainly, if you're at a beginner swimming level, intermediate swimming level, all of this will benefit you tremendously. We see this improvement all the time. So it's all really good stuff.
Precisely. And we've had all levels together. We've had pro triathletes, we've had Olympians, we've had channel swimmers, all the way to those taking their first strokes in the same clinic.
Yep.
And it's always been one of the best clinics ever, because we break the stroke down from the very base and find out those terrestrial movements. The good news is, whether you're Michael Phelps or taking your first strokes or just start your first triathlon and the swim was just a nightmare, the good news is that we all share far more in common than what separates us. The good news is we're all human. We all have terrestrial patterns. And the good news is the same laws of physics and fluid dynamics apply equally to all of us. So we're a level playing field. We just need to know how to work as best in that playing field, given our body type, our length, our wingspan, and accessing the best of our skills as possible, and really reinforcing those skills and building those skills. So you'll find that we all have a lot in common. And even if you watch some of the pros, the elites, Kayla Decky's like, oh wow, he looks some of these great strokes. We're all teaching the very same patterns. We're just teaching at a much accelerated rate. So you're not like a do-it-yourself or trying to learn on your own and hopefully learn by feel. You're learning by instruction. You're learning by video. You're learning by demonstration. You're learning by instruction. You're learning by video. All those things combined really shorten that process to get you becoming your best self in the water and enjoying the swim, and not just thinking this is something I have to get through.
Yep. And I've had an athlete ask me one of the questions that came up. There was like, as opposed to whether they should do the camp or whether they should do individual lessons. And I was like, the best bang for your buck right now is to do the camp, because you're going to get this, concentrated learning that you're going to be able to take with you that would take much longer if it's a lesson and then a couple of weeks and another lesson and a couple of weeks and another lesson. This is going to wire your brain properly. You're going to have the focal points. It's going to sink in a lot faster. You're going to improve, and you'll be able to take that and move forward in the rest of your race season and into next year. For sure. I think that's like, for people who haven't done a training camp, they're really an amazing entity. Like, when you put the right camp together, which I know we do, it's a great environment, and it really accelerates the learning process. And we like to have fun, so we make it fun regardless. I'll always throw that in there. So we will teach you the proper fun check, how to do a proper fun check, because that has to happen all the way through. So yeah, that's our pitch. So we're coming up in a couple of weeks.
Adding one to that, Tom.
Yeah, add a lot to it. Yeah,
group versus private lesson.
Yeah,
and they're both great. What you don't get in the private lesson is, everybody. I often hear people say, "Well, I know I'm not in that level, and it's a group thing. We don't get the attention, that kind of thing." You do get a lot of attention, but what you don't get in a private lessons, you do get in a group setting. Is now it's not that you just learn by execution, and taking in instructions and visual cues, those kind of things. You learn as much from observation, observing others, the same humans doing the same things, the same patterns, and now you really start to learn quickly when you have that group setting, almost a synergistic thing going on. That's where you really absorb so much more by just by observation and then execution and building that camaraderie. And then you find that even your swimmers, your comrades will be giving each other science, really feedback in a science, and physics kind of form, and you're going to completely understand it. So you have like this kind of peer-to-peer thing going on. So you learn so much faster in a group setting, believe it or not, than you do in a single private lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's such a great learning environment to be in an environment like that. It's not just a master swim practice where you're just, here's the workout, go do it. You're getting the feedback. You're getting one-on-one feedback, regardless of how many campers are there. You're getting the feedback. So yeah, it's just a fantastic. So it's coming up in just a couple of weeks. So this is we're doing it August 6th through 9th. So it's a Sunday through Wednesday. Part of the reason we're doing it then is because we're at Lake James, and there's a lot less boaters, and it's a lot better environment to be out on the lake during the week. And we thought a 4-day, 3-night environment would be perfect for this type of training. Plus, we get, it's a good time to get away. You can bring your spouses. There's double occupancy. There's ways that we can, bring families to it. Make this a vacation for everyone, because the property itself is set up for endurance training. So there's great cycling, there's great hiking and running. So there's lots of other things to do. So if somebody needs to come along with you, if your spouse wants to join you, yeah, come on along. And they can enjoy some hiking, some other things while you're swimming and doing that. So we make it as friendly and make it a vacation. It's a fantastic place to be in the Blue Ridge Mountains. So it's fantastic. So that's coming up. What else? What do we miss, Coach? Did I throw it all out there?
The big G word.
The big G word. Oh, the big guarantee. We're making a guarantee.
Guaranteed transformations.
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Absolutely.
You will not be the same person, the same swimmer that you came into the camp. You'll be somebody that you probably won't recognize, and you will be surprised how quickly you learned and picked up things in the right format, at the right levels, that you will leave this new person, which will be a great thing to have at your next triathlon.
Yes, you will absolutely be amazed, and we guarantee that it will happen. So there's no doubts about it. We've seen it, we've experienced it, we know it. So we haven't missed yet. We haven't missed yet. It will happen. You'll be amazed. So that's all good. So we're posting this up. I'm going to be on the property doing some recon and stuff this week. This is Monday. What is it? The 17th of July. And so on Wednesday night, we'll probably do a Facebook Live. We'll try to do a Facebook Live. So and we'll post this up if people have questions. Email us, send us things. You can reach out to us through Facebook, Mind, Body, and Swim, or TriTomR Endurance. You can also email me directly at tritomr@gmail.com. Yeah, get the questions in. We'll answer as many as we can, or you can join us on a Facebook Live. We're gonna attempt the technology to do the Facebook Live and take questions live in person, if that's a thing that people want to do, and then we can talk more about it and keep going. So, like I said, we're running a special this week. It's the lowest price that you can to get in. It's $1,200, all inclusive. I think we're giving it away, Coach. I think we're giving it away.
Sure.
It's too good to be true. So
it's gonna be great though. It's gonna be great.
Yes, it'll be a fun camp. I'm looking forward to being there, and I hope to see some of you there. It'd be fantastic. So that's it for now, and we'll catch you soon, and hope to see you at the camp.
See you in the water.
See you in the water.